Good evening students, welcome back to your chemistry class. In the earlier videos we had completed the structure of atom, and today we are going to talk about other parts of the atomic structure, that is what is atomic number, mass number, how are they represented and all that. So to begin with, atomic number. The atomic number, it is represented by the alphabet Z. Okay, and what is atomic number? It is the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom. Clear? Every element has different number of protons. That is the characteristic of atomic number is what? The number of protons. No two elements can have same number of protons, and it is believed that the chemical properties of an element, they only depend upon what? The atomic number, right? An atom, it is electrically neutral, we already know that, and therefore these total number of atomic number is also equal to total number of protons, and total number of protons are also equal to total number of electrons. Is this point very clear? And where are they written? They are always written at the subscript. So let me write down all the information that I have given you about atomic number. So what is atomic number? As I told you, it is the number of protons present in the nucleus of an atom, right? Represented by the alphabet Z. And I also said, as it is written, that atomic number is equal to number of protons, and we know that atoms are neutral. What does atoms are neutral mean? That is number of protons, they are equal to number of electrons. Therefore atomic number, which is equal to number of protons, is also equal to number of electrons. This is something very important that you need to remember. And I also said, where are atomic numbers written in the element? They are always written at the subscript. So here is the subscript where we always write down the atomic number. Next we come to what is mass number. Mass numbers, they are represented by the alphabet A. Okay, so what is mass number? Where is the mass found? Mass is found in the nucleus, and what all is found in the nucleus? Protons and neutrons. So how can we define a mass number? They are the number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom. They are the number of protons and neutrons present in the nucleus of an atom. Okay, so how do we write it down? Protons plus neutrons, this is equal to your mass number. They are always written as a superscript. So here is your mass number represented. Is this point clear? Now to find out the number of neutrons, how do we find out the number of neutrons? To find number of neutrons, what do we do? It is always equal to mass number minus the number of protons, or we can also say mass number minus the atomic number can also give you number of neutrons, or mass number minus electrons can also give you the number of neutrons. Is this point very clear to all of you? Next we move to how these number of electrons, they are distributed on the shells. So this information was given by Bohr-Bury. Okay, so it is also called as Bohr-Bury scheme. So what was Bohr-Bury scheme? Bohr-Bury gave the distribution of electron in the shells, you can say, or the orbits, or also the energy levels. Okay, that was given by Borbori. According to the scheme, Borbori suggested that the energy levels or energy shells, they are filled in the order of increasing energies. This I had already explained you. The electrons they first enter the K shell, then they go to the L shell and so on. So over here the N, it always represents the number of shells over here. N represents number of shells over here, where n is equal to 1 or n is equal to 2. So this is your K shell, this is your L shell and so on. Then second point, he said that the maximum number of electrons in any shell, they follow this formula 2n square. So how many, now n is over here is the number of shells, as I have already told you. So how many number of electrons are found in the first shell, second shell and so on. So let us find out in the first shell how many electrons are found. So 2 into n is the number of electron, 1 into 1. So this gives you what? 2. 2 are the number of electrons which are present in the first shell. Then let's talk about the second shell. In second shell, it comes out 2 into 2 into 2, 2 into 2, 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8. 8 electrons are present in the second shell. Let's find out in the third shell how many electrons are found. So 2 into 3 into 3. This is 3 to the 6, 6 3s are 18. 18 electrons are distributed in the third shell and so on. So on the basis of this scheme, let us discuss the electronic configuration in the atoms with the mass number and the atomic numbers given to us. Let's take an example. Let's take an example of atomic number, say 12. Okay, so let's configure. So first shell, according to the formula 2n square, should contain 2 electrons. So 2 electrons gone there. Now how many electrons are left? 10 electrons are left. So second shell, according to this formula, they should have 8 electrons. Out of 10, 8 go in the second shell. How many are left? Third shell contains how many? 18 electrons, but there are only 2 left, so that will go to the third shell. Let's take another example like 20. Atomic number is 20. Configure 20. So 2 goes to the first shell, 8 goes to the next shell, 10. Now third shell, it should be 18, but over here you are going to learn in the bigger classes that the third shell is divided into 2 parts. So first shell, they are going to contain 8 electrons only, and then they will move to the 18 electrons. So in the third shell over here, 2, 8, it will again go to the 8 electrons. How many left now? 2 more are left. Now in the fourth shell, as I told you, the third shell is divided into 2 parts. So third shell becomes your 8. The fourth shell now will have the 18 electrons. But here how many are there? Just 2. So here 2 electrons will enter. So at this stage, actually your 18 electrons are filled over here. But since there are only 2, so 2 electrons will be brought up over here. Configuration only till atomic number 20. Above these numbers, above 20, the atomic number configuration has a different way of configuring the electrons that you will study in the senior class. So till atomic number 20, you need to know how to do the configuration over here. Next we come to what are valence electrons. The number of electrons that are present in the outermost shell. This outermost shell is actually called as the valence shell. This is also called as a valence shell, and therefore the number of electrons that are present in the valence shell, they are also termed as valence electrons. Is that clear? With the help of valence electrons, we easily can find out the valency of an element. So what is the valency of an element? It is the number of electrons lost, gained or shared during a chemical reaction. So suppose if I take this atomic number 20, atomic number 20. Configure 2882. To become stable, what it has to do? It has to follow the duplet rule or the octet rule. Duplet rule, it always follow the octet rule. So octet rule says that it should have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Now to become 8 electrons in the outermost shell, it will either take 6 or give away 2. If it gives away 2, it will have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So what is easier, to give away 2 or to take 6? So to give away 2. So this, when it is going to give away 2 electrons, what will happen? Protons which are 20, electrons which are 20, which are when give away 2 electrons, they become 18. So what is more? Protons are more. How many more? 2 are more. Therefore its valency will be 2. Plus or minus, protons are more, plus, so it will become plus 2. I repeat with some more examples. Let's take atomic number 11. Configure 281. So it has to follow the duplet rule. To follow the duplet rule, see over here, protons are 11, electrons are also 11. It has to follow the duplet rule. So either take 7 or give away 1. It will give away 1 electron. So when it gives away 1 electron, what will happen now? Protons are more or electrons are more? Protons are more. How many more? 1. So the number of electrons which are lost is its valency. So valency over here is how much? 1. But it is plus or minus, that we are going to decide from here. So protons are more, so it should be plus 1. Let's take atomic number 7. Okay, so configure this. This becomes 2 and 5. So number of protons are over here 7. Electrons over here are also 7. So it has to follow the octet rule. So to follow the octet rule, either give away 5 to follow the duplet rule and become nearest noble gas configuration, or accept 3. So it will accept 3, okay, to follow the octet rule. So it will, the electrons are going to be accepted over here. How many? 3 electrons. So valency over here of atomic number 7 is how much? 3. But whether it is plus or minus, electrons are more than protons. How many more? 3 more. So here it is minus 3 is the valency. Let's take atomic number 17. Configure 287. Here protons are 17, electrons are also 17. It needs 1 more electron to follow the octet rule. Okay, it needs 1 electron more to follow the octet rule. So now what is more? Protons are more, electrons are more? Electrons are more. So it has accepted 1 electron. Number of electrons lost, gained. So here it is gained. So 1 is the valency. Now what is it? Positive or negative? Protons are 17, electrons are 18, electrons are more. So minus 1 is the valency of atomic number 17. I hope this is very clear. Let's take another one, atomic number 6. So configure this 2 and 4. Okay. So protons are how many? 6. Electrons are how many? 6. Now whether it gives or take, it means the same. It means the same whether it gives away 4 or it takes 4. So over here we write plus minus 4 is the valency. Okay. Then you talk about atomic number 10. So configure this 2 and 8. Here protons are 10, electrons also 10, but it follows the nearest noble gas configuration, that is it has 8 electrons in the outermost shell. It is neither going to lose, gain or share any electrons. So valency is what? Nothing. Valency is 0. So all those elements whose outermost shell is complete, they do not have valence shell. What are they termed as? They are called as inert gases. Okay. All those which are accepting electrons, here I have shown one example and here I have shown one example. What are atomic number 7 and atomic number 17 then? They are metals. Okay, that is non-metals, they accept electrons. And what, where the electrons are lost, the elements which lose electrons, that is atomic number 20 or 11, the example that I gave you, the elements which lose electrons, they are termed as metals, right? Where sharing of electrons takes place, like for example atomic number 6 here, where either loss or gain means the same, so where we write plus minus, what are they termed as? Metalloids. So you must be knowing that elements are of 4 types. What are they? Metals, non-metals, metalloids and noble gases. These are the 4 different types of elements that we study generally. Okay, these are the 4 different types of elements. Now metals which lose electrons, therefore they form positive charge over them, they are also called as cations. Okay, and they are good reducing agents. They are good reducing agents. Clear? Whereas non-metals which accept electrons, they form anions. So metals, they form cations, and non-metals, they form anions. Metals, they are good reducing agents, and non-metals, they are good oxidizing agents. Is this point very clear? Inert gases, we don't have to talk because they hardly take part in the chemical reactions. And metalloids, they show sharing. So they are, you can say, in the middle of being a good reducing and an oxidizing. Next, we are going to talk about isotopes. You know what are isotopes? About isotopes you have already studied in class 8. So I'll very quickly go about with isotopes. These are those elements which, those same elements which have same atomic number but different mass number. Same element with same atomic number but different mass number. They are termed as isotopes. For example, you may take isotope of hydrogen. There are 3 isotopes of hydrogen. What are they? Protium, deuterium and tritium. What is the difference between all these 3? So let's talk about protium. Here hydrogen, number of protons are 1 and mass number is 1. That is, proton is 1, electron is 1. And what about neutron? That is 0. 1 minus 1 makes it 0. Talk about deuterium. Atomic number is 1 and mass number is 2. That is, proton is 1, electron is 1 and neutron is 1 over here. Talk about tritium. Atomic number is 1 and mass number is 3. So over here, proton is 1, electron is 1 and neutron is how many? 2. So what did you see over here? Same element. This is the same element, hydrogen, I am talking about, with same atomic number. Atomic number is equal to number of protons. The same atomic number but different mass number. Mass number differs 1, 2 and 3. So such elements are termed as isotopes. They have similar chemical properties. All these 3 hydrogen atoms, they have similar chemical properties. Isotopes, they only differ in their physical constants and their weights. That is, the mass number depends on the number of neutrons that are present over here. And if you see, the neutrons are different in all the 3. So definitely the physical constants and the weight, that differs for all the 3. Then they occupy the same position in the periodic table. Hydrogen has the first place in the periodic table. Okay. Then fractional atomic masses. Some of the elements, they have fractional atomic masses. Some of the elements which show isotopes, right, which have 2 or more isotopes, the atomic weight of such element we take as the average of the atomic numbers of the various isotopes in which they are found in. For example, over here we take as chlorine. Atomic mass of chlorine is 35.5. That is what I am talking about, fractional atomic mass. It is not in a whole number, it is in fractions, 35.5 AMU. Now how do we get this fractional atomic mass? This is because of the two isotopes of chlorine that are found in the nature. One is 35 and one is 37. So we take the average of the two and then we get this atomic mass. Now how do we find out the atomic mass of the two? It is like this. We find 3 parts of 35 isotope is present in the nature and 1 part of 37 is present in the nature. Upon the average 3 plus 1, 4. This gives us 35.5 AMU. That is the atomic mass of chlorine. Similarly, carbon also has 3 isotopes. What are the 3 isotopes of carbon? They are carbon 12, carbon 13 and carbon 14. These are the 3 isotopes of carbon also. Now what are the uses of isotopes? These isotopes, they are radioactive in nature and they are used for treating cancer and other diseases. Like for example, C14, it is used for determining the ages of the fossil fuels. Even the isotopes of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, right, they are employed for studying the mechanisms of the organic reactions. Clear? This was all about isotopes. Lastly, for this, we talk about isobars. What are isobars? The atoms of different elements. Now here they were same elements. Here I am talking about different elements. They have same mass number but different atomic numbers. So different elements with same mass number but different atomic numbers, they are termed as isobars. Example you can take like calcium and argon. Now calcium atomic mass is 40 and argon atomic mass is also 40, whereas their atomic numbers are different. Calcium it is 20 and argon it is 18. So these are the isobars. They are termed as isobars. Okay. Now what are the reasons for chemical activity of an atom? We know that the chemical activity of an element, it depends upon the number of electrons in the valence shell of its atom. Chemically active or reactive elements which have incomplete octet in the valence shell of their atoms, they only undergo combination or they combine with the atoms and hence they become chemically active and undergo reactions. This you have already studied in class 8th also. That is, they acquire the tendency of becoming stable by either losing, gaining or sharing of electrons, right? And this way they acquire a state of minimum energy. That is, in the modern views, atoms of various elements, they combine with each other only and only when if the chemical combination leads to the decrease in the energy of the system, and hence a chemical bond is formed between the two elements, which further forms a molecule or a compound, which we are going to study in the next video about moving towards chemical bonding chapter. Till here, thank you till then.